All right, welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video, and today I'll be going over the two new LEGO Star Wars Polybags for 2024, and pretty much going over everything we know about them so far, and also some theories as to what these Polybags might mean for the rest of 2024. So let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what we do know as of right now. There's going to be two different Polybags in 2024, one of which coming out January 1st, 2024, presumably in your local Walmarts, maybe even your Targets. That is 30680, the AAT. It is indeed a tan version. We do have a pretty blurry image of the front of the packaging right here, but nonetheless, we pretty much know what's going to look like. You know, very nice little build. Will come in tan, does have the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace logo on it, and nonetheless, pretty much what we expect in a year like 2024 when it is the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace. You know, a very nice vehicle to celebrate that milestone with. So we do know that. All right, that should be showing up in stores shortly. Second up, we do know it's going to be 30685. It's just an additional Star Wars Polybag that we know nothing about. So basically, the remainder of this video, I want to go over a couple thoughts and a couple theories as to kind of what I think this might mean for next year. So first thing, guys, 30680, the tan AAT Polybag. If we actually take a look at the last 5 or 6 years of LEGO Star Wars, okay, and a lot of you guys might know this, the Polybag for the year, or one of the Polybags for the year, also equates to a bigger version of that vehicle in that same year. So all the way back in 2017, we had the First Order Heavy Assault Walker Polybag. We also had a play scale version. 2018, we had the Solo Imperial TIE Fighter Polybag and play scale. Also an Imperial AT Hauler Polybag and play scale. 2019, we had the 20th Anniversary Snowspeeder Polybag and also a play scale set. Then we have the Anakin's Pod Racer Polybag and a play scale version of his Pod Racer 2. Moving into 2020, when they went back to only one Polybag per year, we have the Pose X-Wing Polybag and also a play scale version. We have the Imperial Shuttle Polybag in 2021. And also a play scale version, of course. And then 2022, Hoth ATST Polybag. And then, what do you guess? A play scale version in 2022 of the Hoth ATST as well. In 2023, they technically broke the streak a little bit, but it still equated to, we had the X-Wing Polybag that then resulted in a UCS version of the X-Wing. So you can pretty much, to look at it that way, that a Polybag, the Polybag for the year, or one of the Polybags, equated to pretty much a play scale or greater version of that ship in the same year. Of course, there were some other Polybags that came out in 2017, 18, 19, but, those had no other sets to really correlate them, at least not the same vehicle, but you can't do it with every single Polybag. But it does seem like these past couple years in specific, they really have correlated that one Polybag per year to a bigger version of that set sometime in that same year as well. So with all that knowledge right there, of course, I'm going to kind of throw out that theory right now of, will we get a tan AAT in the summer? Okay, of course, now this year we have two different Polybags to kind of go off of, and there are pretty much two ways this can go. So the first thing is, again, in the summer, are we getting a play scale version of a tan AAT for presumably $40, just like with the 2020 version? Maybe, and hopefully, maybe they bump it up to $50, maybe even $60, make it a little bit bigger, a little bit better than the 2020 version. But we could definitely go that route. Of course, I would assume it would be a 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace version, just kind of some casual minifigures in there, something like, some droids, maybe some Gungans, a Jar Jar, in a perfect world, maybe even like a Boss Nass. Imagine a tan AAT from the Bad Batch, from that one episode in season 2, where we got Imperial Crosshair, Imperial Cody, and maybe a phase 2 clone or a couple droids or whatever. I mean, bottom line of it, does that Polybag instantly mean we're getting a tan AAT? Not necessarily, but it's definitely something to think about, and I would not be surprised if we see a tan AAT pop up on the rumor list, sometime soon, for possibly an August set for $40 or $50. All right, then let's actually move into this next Polybag right here, which, of course, if the tan AAT is not the kind of, Polybag, bigger version set coming out later in the year, this 30685 could be that. And I have a feeling this could be one of two things, okay? One thing being pretty streamlined and pretty lackluster, but also something else I want to bring up that if it does happen, it would be pretty incredible. So first up, You guys probably remember we were going to get a Skeleton Crew ship on January 1st, $140, and correlate with the TV show. Now that is pushed back to June 1st. And just like other years, okay, there have been some occasions with, where they correlate them to the new movies. We had, a U-Wing Polybag and a smaller U-Wing. We had, First Order, a Heavy Assault Walker, of course. We had, like, the AT Hauler. So where I'm getting at with this 30685, I've got a feeling it could just possibly be a polybag version of the Skeleton Crew ship to kind of correlate with the new TV show. And then that would kind of fit in if, Lego really is having some sort of pattern over there of a polybag set instantly correlates with a bigger ship. That could mean, Skeleton Crew polybag, Skeleton Crew bigger ship. That is kind of what I'm thinking, and probably kind of maybe the most obvious, because I would love to know down below, what do you guys personally think is more likely? Do you guys think the AAT combo will be more likely, or is the Skeleton Crew ship going to be more likely with the smaller and the bigger version? As always, it could be neither of them. Just because Lego's had this pattern for the past 5 or 6 years does not mean it will continue into 2024, but it is something to kind of think about. And speaking of thinking about something, I want to kind of run this across you guys. Okay, so 30685, of course, we know nothing about it. And I wanted to bring this up because I had a couple people DM me when I first kind of questioned this 30685 on my story a couple weeks ago. And they made up some good points. So, May 4th minifigures. All right, I'm going to put this right here. So, one thing we have to keep in mind, and one thing I never really correlated until I looked at it right before this video, the May 4th minifigures have a longer, kind of set number. They have like the 7-digit, kind of promo code number, like on the back of the bag. It's not necessarily like a set number that's on the front of the packaging. So basically, right off the rip, I would say a classic, kind of more premium polybag minifigure is probably off the table. I would assume they're not going to just, give those set numbers. But what we can think about, though, and something that could be kind of the best of both worlds and make some sense, is the 20th anniversary Obi-Wan Kenobi minifigure polybag from 2019. That does have a regular set number on the front of the polybag. That was 30624, which correlates with just the average polybag set number. So basically where I'm getting at here is, say there's no correlation at all, for polybags next year, and, it's just going to be just a regular tan AAT, whether there's a big one or not in the summer, it is what it is. But 30685, due to the fact it's another anniversary next year, they are celebrating it in some regard. Could they possibly be bringing back another kind of 20th anniversary Obi-Wan Kenobi stylized minifigure? From what we do know, there should be no printing on the torso or any stand for it, but they could kind of maybe do something where maybe it's a polybag and a little build with a minifigure in there that is technically branded 25th anniversary, but there's no print on the minifigure, and it can kind of be like a standalone possibly, and be a May 4th promo, kind of like I said, with the Obi-Wan Kenobi minifigure, which, again, I don't think you guys remember, they actually sold that polybag on their website. I mean, it's kind of funny. It says collectible minifigure, in the actual name, of the polybag, and they sold technically a Star Wars CMF back in 2019 for $4.99. This was originally a promo, and then they allowed people to buy 50 at a time at $5 each, and a lot of people did that, including myself. And sadly, I sold them way back then for very, very cheap. I think now they're like 15 or 20 bucks each. And I think I was selling them for like $8 each. But nonetheless, those are my two theories right there, as to, actually 3 of them, I guess, as to what I think these polybags might mean for next year. So honestly, I would love to know down below, what do you guys think these polybags mean? Do you think we're overthinking it? Do you think we're going to be getting a bigger AAT in the summer? Is that 30685 possibly going to be a May 4th stylized minifigure again? Or will it possibly just be a smaller version of something we already know we're getting? If they're going to follow that pattern, are they not going to follow the pattern? I just figured this was a video that I wanted to make. I've been thinking about this for the past week or so. I feel like it would start a pretty good discussion, and you guys know me, I like talking about Lego Star Wars, and putting out a theory and a couple predictions is never a bad thing. So I'd love to know down below, guys, what you guys think. Definitely go check out my video from a couple videos ago and enter the giveaway for a brand new 2024 2024 LEGO Star Wars Clone Battle Pack. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys, and stay safe.